Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8 of the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can obviously read me in the Chicago Sun-Times sports section. I will not be anywhere else unless something very wrong happens. Or you could follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at jcowleyhoops. Follow at your own discretion. This is kind of the I told you so episode of the pod. And who better than to bring in for an I told you so episode than the man whose name is on this podcast, Cap.
My guy, how are you?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
So I'm driving. I went to see my grandson play soccer. I get in the car. I'm running errands. It's Saturday, and I'm like, hold on a minute. I know that voice. I'm listening to NBA radio, and it's you. Such a
Mitchell and Getz.
good interview. So enjoyed it. And I called you right after. I'm like, dude, awesome stuff. Awesome. Love listening.
I don't think they and I've done their show before, and I was very at the time because Mitchell coached Zach, I think, back in the Timberwolves days.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just surprised with just how harsh I was on Zach. So I think they thought in the back of their head, hey, we probably need to get this guy on again, because for a beat writer, he pretty much speaks his mind, where that's kind of not that my kind is going extinct, but you just don't hear a lot of beat writers be so honest anymore, especially some of the younger people, because there's a lot of ass kissing that's going on in this profession, where they want to make sure they're tight with ownership and with front office, because they know all the other parts are interchangeable. The players are interchangeable. The coaches are interchangeable. And so they attach themselves. I think we saw that with the Tibbs firing. You saw a lot of guys all of a sudden finger point at Tibbs that were Tibbs really thought it was on his side. So, it's too bad that sports journalism is going that way.
Agreed.
But everyone has to attach themselves and be a barnacle however they want to be. I just try and be on the side of who I think is right.
Well, your best line in your interview, other than all the great intel, was when you said, yeah, you can follow me at jcowleyhoops on X, Twitter, whatever you call it. Don't follow me, or follow me at your own risk.
Yeah, because
I told you. That's how I got to really know you. I think you're the best follow on X.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't really chase followers, and there were days even back in the day I'd make it unfollow Friday, where I'd purposely just want to see how many people I could lose on Twitter, because I just think Twitter is what it is. It's sewage. There are some positive things of it, but for the most part, it's everyone there sticking their chest out and going, look at me, look at me, look at me. Yeah, so that's how I treat it. So, but I'm glad you listened, and it was nice of you to give me a call and say, hey, good job. So, had a chance to interview Vooch after the game. Mm-hmm. Well, let's run that clip, and then we got a lot of stuff we could talk about after that, because it is a glaring issue that we both felt was a problem with this team going into the season, and one that has been completely exposed this last week.
I've asked Billy about this, and other people have too. The last 3 games, these kind of elite players have given you guys problems down the stretch. And Billy's talked about collectively, you guys have to do it. You're built a little different. Is it frustrating? Where are you guys mentally as far as getting over the hurdle of when you're facing one of these elite players, you got to be able to handle them?
Obviously, other than the Milwaukee game, I think, tonight and Cleveland, we give ourselves a really good chance. Just come up short at the end. Those the best players in the league, they're gonna do what they do. Some games we're gonna be able to limit them, some games not as much. When they get it going, I don't think there's a whole lot you can do. I think even against teams that have those great players, we play well. Tonight we had a chance in Cleveland, we had a chance as well. Just didn't close it down the stretch. So it's those losses hurts for sure, but it's part of it. It's part of the season. You go through up and downs, and you just have to figure it out and fight through it. We played some good teams. We played them well. We battled. We had a chance, it just didn't come out.
You mentioned.
And the 3 numbers I'm going to throw out there: Giannis, close game till about 6 minutes left, 19 in the fourth quarter. Cavs were down all night. Donovan Mitchell, 13 in the fourth quarter, takes over. And then obviously the Spurs looked like they were kind of on the ropes with a couple minutes left. Wemby, 18 in the fourth quarter. And there was a lot of isolation, one-on-one, our best is going to beat your best and your best team, and we know you can't answer without your system of high pace being able to run.
Yeah, completely agree. And we'll start with last night's game. And I obviously, like you, have seen all these games. But last night, the Bulls get, I think, a 9-point lead, and then they chip away. Now it's a 3-point game late, and Wembanyama hits his 5th 3 of the game from the deep corner. Bam, right in your face. Miss at the other end, and here he comes, pulls up on the break at 7-4. And the thing is, someone will say, well, why don't you run a guy at him? Blitz him right there. Guess what? The dude had 5 assists. He's going to make the right pass every single time.
And the thing is, they tried in Cleveland, Billy even talked about it, he said, with Mitchell, I mean, they were putting the ball, first they were hunting down Giddey in the fourth quarter. And obviously he had come back from the broken ankle move by DeAndre Hunter. So they were hunting him down because he's not the greatest defender, and now he's got a bad wheel. But they were hunting him down on defense. And then the other thing, too, Donovan Mitchell is so strong that, yeah, you can – and they've got dudes around him, too. You could blitz him. You could try and double team him, but he was making every right play. He was splitting double teams. That's just elite NBA basketball player, and that's the growing concern. And the ongoing concern I have is this is what you see in the playoffs.
Correct.
This is what you're going to see in the playoffs. And I'm crediting Arturas. I think I wasn't into his idea of depth because he was comparing it to Indiana. I still think it's a bad comparison because Indiana has Tyrese Halliburton, who I think is an all-star quality player and delivers in the clutch, where the Bulls don't have that. But it is working. I think this team is real sustainable and built really well for the regular season, where they could finish anywhere. I picked them 6, but they could finish anywhere from 4 to 7. And I would be like, yeah, I'm not surprised because of the product and what they are in the regular season. And that's my concern. They're built more for the regular season and just running teams that don't want to run out of the gate to start the season in January and February when the dog days hit. And their system, they're more of a system team. My concern is they could be one of those teams that even has a 3 seed and gets beat in the first round of the playoffs if it's not the right matchup. If it's a team like Orlando with Paolo or somebody that just has a star that you don't have.
Yeah, they have a star that when the game's on the line is better than anybody you run out there, A. And B, if they get really physical with you and you get worn down a bit, they're going to impose their will on you. Who do we have that can match up with Giannis? Nobody. I think Giddey's a really good player. They got that trade right. Yeah, absolutely. I think Matas, 2-3 years from now, you're going to be like, wow, that dude's a really good pick there. But there's just not enough firepower there. I'm with you. They'll probably win, 41 to 45 games, right in that range, 40 to 45. And you go, oh, they got a 5 seed. Interesting. Yeah. But they're not going to be the last one standing in the Eastern Conference Final. No, and that's the frustrating part, because it almost feels to me like the front office would put a big feather in their cap, no doubt, for doing that. And they were beating their chest of going 15-5 down the stretch last year in March, where you're playing teams that were resting guys. You were playing teams, some of them were already setting themselves up to tank because at that point the trade deadline had come and gone and you're in tank mode. And other teams that were set in the playoffs, they're looking in the standings and going, well, where do we want to be? Well, if we don't win this game, it's not that big of a deal. So March is a dangerous time to evaluate your team. But I will say they got Giddey right at a great price. I think Modest has already flashed probably 2 or 3 games this year where you're like, whoa, that's not normal for a 20, 21-year-old kid in year 2 to have that size and that kind of ball skill. So, there's something to be exciting there. We haven't seen Kobe White. I don't think Kobe White's going to disrupt this rhythm at all. I think he's a plug-and-play type of guy that fits right to the system, so I'm not worried about that. But can he be that 20, 24-point scorer that can close a game out for you? I don't think that's his game. I don't think he's an ISO type guy where you just say, hey, you're our version of Donovan Mitchell. And when you come in and like Arturas did and you're beating your chest and you're saying the goal is to return the Bulls back to championship, this is year 6, bro. So even if you're going to beat your chest, make these improvements, I'm going to hold you to what you said when you came in on the job. Okay, so how do you get that star? Because I'm not convinced, A, that they have the temerity to go out and go, I'm doing that, and I got the guts to trade somebody you don't think I do. That's A. B, what star is going, I want to go to Chicago?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the AD thing is always going to be floating around. And if Dallas truly is, I mean, they fired Nico today or on 11/11 for the day we're taping this. Do they look to say, hey, we got to blow this up? We got the number 1 pick in Cooper Flagg, who has already shown flashes of what I think he could be. And he's playing with some proven guys. It's not like I love Con Knipple. I mean, he was, and it's funny, so did the Bulls. I talked to some of the Bulls people, and they're like, they even made calls, and they were told he ain't going to be there when you want him. Trust me, even if you try to trade up a couple of spots. So I was in on Con Knipple because he's just an adult. And you look at some of his games, he almost had a triple-double the other night, 30 points the night before. But there's some guys that are instant, I think, impact players. Is Dallas going to say, hey, we have to reset this. We're going to go with a new GM. We're going to build around Cooper Flagg. Is AD a possibility? I mean, you have the expiring contracts that would be perfect for Dallas to say, hey, we can bring these guys in for the year and get out of the contracts. So the money could work. It's a matter of, do the Bulls have the balls to do that? And I don't think they do. I think they are a very much let's sit and wait status quo type team ever since that 21-22 rebuild blew up in their face.
And here's the thing. And AD is a wonderfully talented guy, Chicago guy. And
Right.
if he's playing, AD is a huge addition to your team. No question.
Yeah.
But could you also look and go, wow, I blew up my team chemistry and brought in a guy who's street clothes. Oh, yeah. He's sitting over there.
Yeah.
That's what
it's a gamble. I mean, that's the gamble. That's what you're stuck at right now because you don't want to tank. You refuse to tank. You refuse to tank the last couple of years when there were picks there that could be game changers. And this 26, I know you watch it. These 26 dudes, Peterson from Kansas, DeBonce, I think, is playing tonight for BYU. The Boozer brothers, obviously, Cameron's the better one.
He's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys, this draft class, even the guys that were in the 8-9 spot are really, really flashing. And the Bulls, they just ignore that kind of stuff. It just doesn't intrigue them enough to take a step back. So they're always going to be this kind of try-hard front office that's going to be toiling in this mediocrity. And that's fine if you had a plan to give you a superstar, but I don't see your plan.
I don't either. But what do you do with Kobe White? Because I'm not paying him a big deal. Nice player.
What's your price with Kobe White?
Oh, wow.
That's always an intriguing thing because if you're talking, he's going to get more than Giddey.
Yes.
Okay. But so if you're talking, and I don't know if he should when you look at their ages and stuff like that. And
I was just going to say to you, I'm not sure in my world he gets more than Giddey if I'm the GM.
Right. Now, if you're the Bulls and you can get Kobe and play hardball 25 to 30 million a year, then to me, you do it. But I have a feeling when he comes back, I think Kobe, he bet on himself, and Kobe's got some Jimmy Butler in him where he just has a middle finger up of people that doubt him, and not that he has any angst towards the organization, but even he had, he knew I doubted him, and we had to have a talk about it, and I even said, hey, I apologize to you. I did not see this in you. I did not see a guy that was going to work on his weaknesses, and I was wrong about you. And I wrote that column, and we had a conversation about it. And but what if he goes off and he's 24, 25 a night, and then the asking price is 35 to 40 million?
I can't do that. I don't think he's a game-changing player, and now I've tied myself in to a salary where I'm like, he's not good enough.
Right. Because, and then you've got, if you think about it, you got Giddey for 25, you got Kobe, say you get him for 35, you got Patrick for 18. Those are the three major guaranteed guys. And so that's 35, 25, 60.
78.
You got almost 80 million in three guys, and not one of them is an all-star as of right now.
Now, I do think Giddey can become an all-star.
Yes.
But if I said to you, pick another team that has three big salaries like that, I would tell you the Bulls were in the bottom third of the league with those three.
Yeah. And so that's my frustration coming out of the gate here. And look, this team's been fun to watch.
Yep.
They've had some really good games to put on the resume.
And they're well coached.
They're well coached. Billy, I mean, I think you and I are on the same page as far as Billy Donovan.
Love him.
He's not Spoelstra. Spoelstra, even that play that Miami drew up the other night to win it at the. I mean, Spoelstra is just he's as good as they come. There's 3 or 4 of those guys in the entire league. Then you drop to that second tier, and I put Billy right near the top of that second tier. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach for a reason. So they have a coach in a place that's been very difficult on coaches. So they're good there. And they have a couple of young promising guys in Modest and Giddey locked in. So they're good there. But like I said, the last 3 losses have all just been, Arturas, this is what I've been warning you about, and you just ignore it. And, hey, Arturas is the smartest guy in the room. You just ask him.
Yeah, and he's also going to be the guy, as you said earlier, well, we won 45 games. What do you want from me?
We made improvements.
How far did you go in the playoffs, Arturas? We ran into a bad matchup in the first round.
Styles make the fight.
That's what we'll hear.
Exactly. What I know you watch a lot of NBA. It's the sample size is small. What has stood out for you so far? And maybe not just the Bulls, but just around the league right now. For me, it's some of these young dudes, this passing of the torch, because you never know how that's going to go. It always goes off fine, but you always have these worries with Steph and LeBron, who's next. And before that, it was, with Kobe and who's after, and Shaq. And you always have, well, it's not going to be this and this. The draft class, and some of the guys from a couple of years ago, I'm like, it's really fun to watch some of these younger dudes playing the game the right way. Some of them are kind of throwback players, which I like. They're adults, which I like, because I can't watch LaMelo Ball anymore. I just can't.
No,
it's just watching it. It's an and one mixtape, and I'm over it.
So I've seen him play a few times this year. I'm watching Austin Reeves, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, that dude is just unbelievable. He had a game like 51 points. I'm like, Austin Reeves? And then I watched the game last night, and it is the Pistons losing to the Wizards, and Cade Cunningham goes, hang on a minute. That dude is phenomenal.
Yeah. What do you have, 42 points, 45 shots?
Yeah.
That's old school right there. That's old school Kobe saying, you know who I trust? Me. Give me the ball.
Get out of my way. So watching those two, I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell fan. Obviously, SGA is SGA. He's phenomenal. You know who's actually playing better? Denny Avdija of Portland.
Oh, yeah. He started flashing second half of last year.
Yeah. He's, 24, 25 points a game. I'm a big fan of his. And then I watched Zach LaVine against the Bulls, and he came up with a steal, and he just doesn't make winning plays for me. If I was his coach, I'd be like, I appreciate the effort. You're not a dog. I appreciate that you can knock down shots. You just don't make enough winning plays for me. He gets the steal against the Bulls, and what's the first thing he does? Throws it out of bounds at the other end of the floor. Yeah. I'm like, we just got back in the game. What are you doing? But it helped the Bulls, so I was happy.
Yeah. For me, he will always be, and I love him. His personality and the way he's dealt with us is great. That's not the question here. But to me, Zach LaVine will always be a very good number 3 guy on your team. Because he's a bucket. He's a bucket, and that's what your number 3 team should be. But unfortunately, the places he's been forced to be after he left Minnesota has been as a number 1 or number 2, and he's just not. He's not Batman. He's not Robin on a championship team.
But he has also, if you put him in the number 3, is he willing to accept the role as a number 3? And I'll tell you a guy who is playing, like, he was in Toronto. He was fine. I'm like, yeah, that guy's pretty talented. Now in Miami, Norman Powell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Shit. That guy.
Heat culture. They get that heat culture on you, get their hands on you.
Holy cow. I mean, obviously, Paolo Banchero's a great player, but he's young. But there's some good young players in this. Like Tyrese Maxey is ridiculously good to watch as a scorer. I'm just not a big fan of that team.
Yeah, and I was a big VJ Edgecombe guy. That was another guy I wanted the Bulls to tank for just because of the explosveness and athleticism. I thought he would fit in with Billy's style of just run and gun, and eventually he'd figure out the 3-point line. But yeah, if Embiid can get to 28 to 33 minutes, and he'll miss his 10 to if he can keep it to 10 to 15 games missed, then I think they're interesting and be ready for the playoffs. But besides that, to me, he would have to prove it to me to be excited about Philly. But when they're all healthy, and they're going to get McCain back. They got some dudes. They got some dudes on that team.
Yeah, I watch Sacramento and I think, okay, Sabonis, that's your Vooch. You've got DeMar. You've got Zach. I don't know what they're trying to build out there. And I like Sabonis as a rebounder. He's a good player. He's not a star by any means, but I don't know what they're doing out there. Right. I really don't. If I was a team that's trying to think I can get over the top and win a championship, why would you not trade for Nikola Vucevic?
And here's the thing, though. At this point, with what Arturas wants to get done this year, I don't know if he can afford to trade him.
He might not be willing to move. You'd have to overpay to get him.
Right. And I could see, because Vooch loves Chicago and his family loves Chicago, I could see come trade deadline time where we're all on pins and needles. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? They do the Lonzo Ball thing and say, hey, just so you know, we are extending Vooch for one more year and then a second year with a team option. That way it's trade friendly, and he takes, a little bit of a haircut, and they try bringing him back again. Don't rule that out. I'm just telling you, that is in play if he keeps playing like he does, and this team is in that 4 to 6 area in the standings. I could see them saying, we're riding the Vooch at least one more year, and with a tradable contract. So,
yeah, and if you do that, and I don't know what they're taking Arturas at his word, this is the summer they're supposed to think big, right?
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. The days of having cash for free agency ended when the CBA kicked it.
Right.
Because now the really good players are going to stay put, and the ones that they can't afford are going to be signing trades where they have control over where they're going. So you need guys that want to play for the Bulls.
Right.
Now, can you sell that brand better than you did a couple of years ago? Maybe, but I don't think Arturas is a salesman. If you have to sit down in a meeting with him and you're a dude that's chasing a ring, does he excite you? And it's not his fault. He's just not Mr. Big Personality.
He doesn't Pat Riley and pull out.
No, he's not showing rings. No. I'll get you out of here. But one last thing. What we talked about, I brought up AD and kind of what I would try to do, what big swing I would do. Right now, I'm handing you control of the Bulls. You got all the contracts, where they are in the standings, everything. The coach. What do you do with the rest of the season, knowing you got 6 guys who are walk eligible? You got to make a decision on Dalen Terry. You got to make a decision on Julian Phillips. What do you do with this thing? Do you go for a big swing? Do you say, hey, I know this product's not good enough, and I love what I'm seeing in this 26 draft class? Or do you just put your head down and say, hey, status quo, let's try and finish this thing up?
So I'm looking at their contracts right now. For me, if Kobe White's not going to take and I don't think he will, $25 million contract, I think he's looking 35 to 40 if he plays well.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm probably moving on because I don't believe he's a true difference maker. And I can't tie myself up at 25 there and 25 there. And I got this stupid Patrick Williams contract that I still can't believe they did. So I would probably move on from him. I would not bring Dalen Terry back. I don't think he's very good. What am I bringing him back for? For what possible reason?
He to me, Dalen's piece and Dalen's future is he's a bench guy that comes in and gives you length and helps the run and gun continue.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
And it's not going to be a big price tag on Dalen Terry.
No, it is not. Next year, what do you have? 8 guys under contract?
Yeah, not a lot.
I think that's it. You got Giddey, Williams, Okoro, Smith, Jones, Bazelis, Essengay, and Phillips. I got to take a swing because my personality, if my doctors said Anthony Davis he's healthy enough, you can, if If he
Zach
comes
Collins
home,
and Kobe, there you go.
I mean, here you go. I'll give you that money, and you guys can do what you need to do to tank your season. Yeah, I'd probably take a swing there. I would.
No, well, that's it, Cap. Great minds think alike.
That's it. We're on the same page, my friend.
Thanks for jumping in, Cap. Love it.
Roll Tide.
All right, buddy. Yeah. All right, love having the Cap in. All right, let's get to the island. The Joe Cowley rant. I mean, this one's obvious. It's kind of fish in a barrel. And I'm going to admit, I was not high on Derek Queen out of the draft for the Bulls for the simple reason of I didn't think he would be able to play with the pace that they want to play at. And he has not. Let's get this straight. His last 4 games, 12 points, 11 points, 13 points, 12 points, but the dude's also winning games. That's been impressive. So he's not 20, 25. He's not Knipple, but he's producing. But the Pelicans are 25th in pace. So they're playing at a speed that's great for him. But what I'm starting to get a little pissy about is you had a chance to get him at 12, but you said, we're afraid of just how slow he is, but he's a great passer. No, we're going to ignore that. But don't you think he could run up and down the floor like Vooch could? We're not going to chance that. We're going to go with a complete project that we know is at least a 1-year red shirt because that's what Noah Asenge is. He is a red shirt. He is a red shirt prospect. I don't know what he could turn into. He's got a body that maybe he's not even done growing. He's only 18. He's already 6'8", 6'9". He's got really long arms. Maybe he sprouts up to 6'9", 6'10", and all of a sudden he's a small ball center when you put weight on him. I had a chance to talk to him the other day. He's not the greatest speaker. He speaks fine English. I mean, obviously, he's French and played in the German league, so he's multilingual, and English is not his first language, but he's fine. They have him in the weight room. They have him on with a chef with high calories. They're going to try beefing this kid up as much as possible. He just got reassigned back to Windy City, which tells me maybe he's not going to go on this West Coast trip, or maybe he's going to stay with Windy City for the next 4 or 5 days because they have a lapse before they go out west where they have 3 off days. Whatever it is, he's a project. Derek Queen, he's kind of a dude right now for New Orleans. They love him. Passes the ball, sees the floor. Do I think he could have thrived in run and gun? I don't know. I don't know if he could have at the speed the Bulls play. I think the Bulls are up to 4th in pace right now. New Orleans is 25th. That's a big difference. Would it have worn on him? Would he not be as effective? I don't know, but they didn't take that chance, and it's one of those things that could come back, and you could be like, whoa. Imagine if Vooch walked, you let Vooch go, and you had Derek Queen waiting in the wings, who is close to Vooch's size, does not shoot the 3 at all. Nowhere near Vooch. But you don't know. I mean, if Noah is a developmental player, why can't Derek Queen be a developmental player who's also getting you 12, 13 points a night as a rookie? That's the unknown. But again, I'm not as smart as Arturas Karnisovas. Boom. All right, let's go to the list. We talked about this with Cap. I've talked about it in previous pods. You need an all-star. And if you're not going to go out and get an AD or go take a big swing, who are your guys on this current roster? So I listed them 5-1 of who I think has the chance to be named an all-star this year with the way they're playing so far for the Bulls, or maybe in one case how they're not playing yet. So we'll go down the list. Number 5 is going to be the Vooch. Vooch, this year and last year, could be playing some of the best Vooch basketball. The ball doesn't go through him like it did in Orlando. He's gotten over that. But the way he's getting up and down the floor, just the things he's doing. And some of the games, even before this 3-game losing streak, there were some games, the Philadelphia game, where he just is playing with physicality and doing his best to throw his body at the rim. So, I think he's right there. And he was an all-star previously in Orlando. Number 4, Ayo. He just needs more minutes. I mean, if Ayo got more minutes and you kind of factor out his numbers in 34 minutes, pretty good. And he's probably the best 2-way player as far as a guard. So, he's not a Kuro, but he's close defensively. Number 3, Kobe White. Anxious to see Kobe White return. He probably will be returning on the West Coast trip next week. That's kind of the day they're hitting. Who knows where it's going to be? They got a back-to-back, so he'd only play in one of them if it's that early with it's Utah, then Denver. Then they have an off day, and then Portland. So circle Portland for right now until we hear otherwise. Otherwise, I think it might be Denver. Number 2, guy I've been ranting about since the summer, Matas Buzelis. Look, he's had some dog games, a couple of them, learning games. The loss to the Spurs, he wasn't even on the floor because they went with 2 bigs. They went with Cornette and Wemby, and they just thought too big for Matas to guard one of those guys, and they weren't in love with the idea of him on a castle. So he didn't even finish the game, that one. The game in Orlando where he got in foul trouble. But he's had some really good moments too. So he's the high ceiling guy of this group, no doubt. And number 1, you look at the numbers, you look at the improved defense, get the highlight of the ankle breaker out of your mind because look, Josh even laughed about it after the game when we talked about it. He goes, yeah, that's not a highlight you want to be on. Look, it was a mixtape, get your ankles broken moment. With guys even mocking him from the Cavaliers and becoming a meme and all that stuff. Erase that play. This dude's been balling. He's been worth the $100 million extension. And when you look at his numbers, they're as all-starry as all-starry gets. It's just, I asked Billy the other day about the defensive component. Could that help change the image that some teams have in their mind of a guy that was unplayable in some games late? So he's number 1 as far as potential all-stars and a guy that could kind of make that jump and lift and give the Bulls that guy. But as of right now, they don't have that guy. So be on the West Coast next week. And until then, I got next.